Hello children, today we will discuss section 2 of the question paper. Question number 5a. Which physical quantity does the unit electron volt measure and how is it related to the SI unit of this quantity? It is a 2 marks question. So the physical quantity to which this unit electron volt is related to is energy definitely, but not all types of energy, but specifically the atomic energy. Now children, if you wrote only energy in this answer, then it will not be marked as a correct answer, because electron volt you do not use for heat energy, sound energy or any other type of energy. So the word atomic has to be there in your answer. This is 1 mark. The value of 1 electron volt is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule, and this value will fetch you another 1 mark. Next is question 5b. A block and tackle system of pulleys has VR equals to 5. Draw a neat and labeled diagram of this system indicating the direction of load, effort and tension. And it has one more part. What is the ideal mechanical advantage of this pulley system and how can it be achieved? This is a 4 marks question. That means part 1 is of 2 marks and part 2 is of 2 marks. And this is the answer. A block and tackle system of pulleys having VR equal to 5 will have 5 pulleys. Now this is an odd number of, there are odd number of pulleys, which means that in the upper part there will be 3 pulleys and the lower part will have 2 pulleys. Direction of effort is in the downward direction as well as direction of the load. This load is supported by 5 strands. So all these 5 strands will experience tension in the upward direction. The effort which is applied in the downward direction, in this strand also tension will be experienced and that tension will also be in upward direction. So this complete diagram will fetch you 2 marks. Part 2 of the question says that what is the ideal mechanical advantage of this pulley system? So the answer is 5, because ideally VR, that is the velocity ratio, and mechanical advantage are same. Now under ideal situations there shouldn't be any losses due to friction. So it can be achieved by removing friction between the movable parts of the machine. So this is the keyword of the answer. Or you may have written making the tackle, that means the lower part, as light as possible using frictionless and weightless string. So any one reason was required to be answered, as it is of only 1 mark. So that is question number 5b. Question number 5c is a numerical. There is a diagram which is given here and the weight is given, which is 60 gram force, and the skier stands at A, which is the top position, and jumps and moves from A and takes off his jump at B. Now B is at a height of 15 meter and A is at a height of 75 meter. First part says that calculate the change in the gravitational potential energy between the points A and B, and if 75% is has converted into kinetic energy, then what will be the speed? The value of G which is given in the question is 10 meter per second square. So the change in gravitational potential energy, the formula is mgh. So when you will put the values here, you will have to put, that means the value of potential energy at the height of 75 meter minus the value of potential energy at the height of 15 meter. So you'll get 36,000 joule. These two steps will fetch you 2 marks. Part 2 of the question, 75% of this energy is converted into kinetic energy. So P equals to mgh. Putting the values, will get the value of velocity, which will be 30 meter per second. Again, this particular step, which is the main step, needs to be written. It is compulsory to write. So this will fetch you 1 mark. You may miss the intermediate step. Answer with correct unit will give you another 1 mark. So this was question number 5. Question number 6, A part. A bulb is marked 100 watt 220 volt and an electric heater is marked 2000 watt and 220 volt. First part of the question says that what is the ratio of the resistances of the bulb to the heater. So how do you find this? V square upon P is the resistance. RB stands for resistance of the bulb and RH stands for resistance of the heater. So on taking the ratio of these two, you will get the ratio of the resistance of the bulb to the resistance of heater as 20:1. Now the question clearly says that the ratio of bulb resistance of the bulb to that of the heater needs to be found. That means you cannot reverse the answer. That means you cannot write the answer in the reverse order. It's a 1 mark question. But for that 1 mark also, you need to specify any of these 3 steps. I mean, if you are writing only this main step, that's fine. If you want to miss then these 2 steps, no problem. But if you want to write, or if you have written the calculation for resistance of the bulb, then you should show the calculation for resistance of the heater also. Next part of the question is the power voltage rating of a device helps us to decide about current rating of the fuse wire to be used for it? And answer is yes. There is nothing else that you should write, but the reason is that with the help of power rating, we can find the maximum current that can be drawn into the circuit. That's why it gives us this idea. Third, the fuse wire is rated 8 ampere. Can it be used by the electric heater? Now, if I want to find out the current that will be flowing through the heater, then we can use the formula P equals to VI. That means current will be almost equal to 9 ampere. And the fuse wire has given the rating 8 ampere, which is less than the actual current that will flow through the heater. So we will not be able to use the particular fuse wire for this heater. Now comes the last part of the question. Which effect of current is utilized in both electric bulb and electric heater? It is the heating effect of current. And this will give you 1 mark. So this part of the question 6A is of 4 marks. After this, it's question 6B. Name the wire to which switch is connected. So it is always the live wire. To which wire the metallic case of the electric appliance is connected? It is the earth wire. And state one characteristics of the material used for fuse. Now only one characteristic has been asked. So either you write low melting point or you write high resistance. Any one of these. So each part is of 1 mark. So this is a 3 marks question. No description or explanation is required in this question. This is question 6C. There is a circuit diagram of different resistances are also mentioned here. You are required to find the potential difference across 4 ohm resistance, that means this one, and the value of R. Each part is of 2 marks. The first part is of 1 mark and the second part is of 2 marks. So this is a 3 marks question. Potential difference across 4 ohm resistance can be found by using the formula V equals to IR. So current flowing is given in the question itself and it is 4 ohm which is the resistance. So the potential difference will be 1 volt. This is a 1 mark question. Now for the second part, where you have to find the value of the unknown resistance R. If we find the voltage drop by using this formula, I into internal resistance, this will give us 0.75 volt. So the total EMF, which is 3 volts, from here we can find the equivalent resistance of the circuit. There are 2 resistances in series. This one was of 2 ohm, this is R ohm, this is 4 ohm, and this is connected to a cell having internal resistance equal to 3 ohm. This was the circuit and 0.25 ampere current is flowing across it. So children, if you look at this figure, 2 ohm and R ohm are in parallel. This combination is in series with 4 ohm and 3 ohm resistance. And this is by putting all the values, we can find the equivalent resistance from this equation. So once we can find the equivalent resistance of the entire circuit, we can easily find out the resistance, the unknown resistance R, and the value will be 2 ohm. So the main equation carries 1 mark and the final answer with correct unit carries another 1 mark. This was question number 6. Question number 7. State 3 safety precautions that you would take while handling radioactive substance. Here you have to make sure that what precautions you will take. So there are 3 points to be written. The person should put on special lead-lined aprons and lead gloves. They must use special glasses made up of lead containing lenses, and all the radioactive substances should be handled with long lead tongs. Each of the 3 points contain 1 mark or consist of 1 mark. Question number 7th B. There is an element S whose atomic mass and atomic number are given. Needs to be found, and there is another element R, which is the final product, It is obtained by the emission of 2 alpha and 1 beta particle. So, you all know very well that after 1 alpha emission, the atomic mass is reduced by 4 and atomic number is reduced by 2. So, after 2 alpha emissions, the atomic mass will be reduced by 8 and atomic number will be decreased by 4. But when beta emission takes place, atomic mass remains unchanged and atomic number is increased by 1. So the final product is R22285. So the value of A would come out to be 230 and Z will be equal to 88. The steps, this one, working step, will carry 1 mark and answers 1 plus 1. Third part of the question is about this diagram. Electric field is there and a radioactive substance is kept over here. You have to show and label the paths of alpha, beta and gamma, as well as you need to tell the least penetrating power, which has the least penetrating power and which one has the least ionizing power. This is the diagram, complete diagram. Gamma radiation will go undeviated because it is uncharged. Alpha, being positively charged, will go towards negative electrode, and beta, being a negatively charged particle, will go towards the positive electrode. One thing you should take care of while drawing, I hope you must have done, that the path of alpha and the path of beta, there is a difference. And the difference is that beta deviates more than alpha. This needs to be depicted in the diagram. So this diagram with the label as well as the paths will give you 2 marks. Least penetration power is alpha. The answer for least ionization power is gamma. So 1 plus 1. So this was question number 7. Question number 8. The stone of mass m is rotated in a circular path with a uniform speed by tying a strong string with the help of your hand. Now answer the following question. Is the stone moving with uniform or variable velocity? Is the stone moving with uniform acceleration? And what kind of force acts on the hand and state its direction? The stone is definitely moving with a variable velocity, and the reason is that the direction of velocity is continuously changing when it is moving in a circular path. Second part of the question is asking you whether the stone is moving with uniform acceleration. So answer is no. Reason being, just like velocity, the direction of the acceleration is also changing at every point, and therefore acceleration is also not constant, it is variable. And the final part of the question, what kind of force acts on the hand and state its direction? On the hand, there is a centrifugal force that acts, and it is inwards along the hand. So 1 plus 1 plus 1. In none of these, the explanation, you are not required to write the explanation. 8b. It's a numerical. A machine is driven by 100 kg mass that falls 8 meter in 4 seconds. It lifts a load of mass 500 kg vertically upwards. What is the power input of a machine? Power input is nothing but work done upon time. So once you find the work done by the machine, by using the formula m into g into h and substituting its value in the equation of power, you will get the answer of part 1. The first step along the step along with the answer with correct unit, 1 mark. Second step, value substitution with correct answer and unit is also of 1 mark. There is one more part of the same question, and it is that if the efficiency of a machine is 75%, then what is the power output? G to be taken as 10. So efficiency is power output upon power input, and since you want to find out power output, so you have to substitute these two values and you will get this answer. So value substitution and correct answer with correct unit is of 2 marks. That was 8B. Question number 8C, which is another numerical. The mass of 10 kg is dropped from a height of 50 centimeter. Find its kinetic energy and velocity just as it reaches the ground. This is of 2 marks. And there is one more part which is of 1 mark. The kinetic energy will be equal to potential energy because it will follow the law of conservation of energy. So if you know the value of potential energy at the maximum height, you can easily find kinetic energy. So at the maximum height, the potential energy will be 50 joule, and therefore kinetic energy will also be 50 joule. This step is very important to mention in order to get 1 mark, that kinetic energy is equal to potential energy. Now in order to find out the value of velocity, we'll put this value in the equation and get this answer, which is root 10 meter per second. This is a 1 mark question. This part is 1 mark and that one is of 1 mark, so it is 1 plus 1, 2 marks. The second part of the question is that what will be the velocity if the mass is becomes 20 kg. Mass right now in the question is 10 kg, but if the mass value becomes 20 kg, then there won't be any change in the velocity value. It will remain the same because velocity of any object does not depend upon the mass. So there will be no effect in the velocity. That was question number 8. Question number 9. State 4 differences between single fixed pulley and single movable pulley. It's a 4 mark question. So these are the 4 differences. Single fixed pulley, in this one you have a pulley which is fixed, while in the single movable pulley it is movable. The mechanical advantage is 1 under ideal situation, and here the mechanical advantage is 2. Effort is applied towards gravity. Effort is applied against gravity. The distance moved by the load is equal to distance moved by the effort. On the other hand, here the distance moved by the effort is double that of the distance moved by the load. However, instead of this difference, if you have written VR, that is the velocity ratio of single fixed pulley is 1 and velocity ratio of single movable pulley is 2, that is also a correct point. So each of these are of 1 mark and therefore it is a 4 marks question. Question number 9B is a numerical. There is a machine of load which can lift a load of 10,000 Newton and effort applied is 500 Newton. The displacement through which the load moves is 2.5 meter. Effort moves is 2.5 meter and the load is displaced through 10 centimeter. 3 things you need to find: mechanical advantage, velocity ratio, and efficiency of this machine. So it is 1 plus 1 plus 1. So mechanical advantage is load upon effort. So on substituting the value, mechanical advantage is 20. It is a unitless quantity, this you must remember. Similarly, velocity ratio, which is effort arm upon load arm. So this ratio gives you 25, 1 mark. And efficiency is equal to mechanical advantage upon velocity ratio multiplied by 100, which is 80. So 1 plus 1 plus 1. 3 marks question. Question number 9C. What are radioisotopes? Give one example and its one use. So it is also 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 marks question. Isotopes of normally stable elements. This is the first keyword. Having atomic number less than 82. Second keyword. The isotopes of these elements are known as, which are radioactive in nature, are known as radioisotopes. So, radioisotopes are not the isotopes of any radioactive substance. You should write that the main substance or the element is stable and the atomic number is less than 82. Examples are many. 2 examples I have mentioned here. And this example, any one example you were supposed to write. So it is of 1 mark. So instead of writing 2 examples, you could have written only 1, and if it is correct, you will get the marks. Now, one use was to be written. It is used for the treatment of diseases like leukemia, cancer, etc. Or you may have written isotopes of radioiodine, radioiron, etc. used to detect the blood clots and tumors. So any one of these uses you could have written, and if you have written, you will get marks. Question number 10. There are 4 parts of this question. What change takes place within the nuclei when beta particles are emitted by a radioactive substance? So this is a 1 mark question and only a direct answer was needed to be written. So whenever beta particle comes out, the number of protons is increased by 1 because the neutron changes into proton by releasing an it actually divides into proton and electron, and that electron leaves the nucleus as beta particle. So when this happens, the atomic number is increased by 1. So this is a 1 mark question. B part of the question is, what is the relationship between velocity ratio and the number of strands used to support the load in block and tackle system? So velocity ratio is always equal to the number of strands supporting the load. And this is going to give you 1 mark. There was a numerical. You are given 3 resistances, 1 ohm, 2 ohm and 3 ohm, and you have to design such that the equivalent resistance, and you have to design a circuit so that the equivalent resistance becomes 6 ohm, that's the first part, 6 upon 11 ohm, second part, and 1.5 ohm, third part. So 3 different combinations you were supposed to draw. So for in order to get 6 ohm as equivalent resistance, you will put all 3 of them in series. So all the 3 resistances get added up, it gives us 6 ohm. For second part, where the equivalent resistance is 6 upon 11 ohm, you will have to put them in parallel to each other. You will solve and you will get this answer. While for the third one, you will put 2 of them in series, 1 ohm and 2 ohm, and this combination is in parallel with the third resistor, which is 3 ohm. So this combination will give you equivalent resistance as 1.5 ohm. So 1 mark plus 1 mark plus 1 mark. Diagrams were necessary to draw as well as one step to show the calculation was required. Question number 10D. A uniform meter scale of mass 60 grams carries masses 20 gram, 30 gram and 80 gram from the points 10 centimeter, 20 centimeter and 95 centimeter marks. Where must the knife edge, that means the fulcrum, be placed to balance the scale? I have solved this question using in two different ways. I will explain you both of them. So in the first one, I considered that the knife edge is placed after this weight on this side of the scale. So the equation will be, now since the scale is balanced, so the anti-clockwise moment, sum of the anti-clockwise moments should be equal to sum of clockwise moments. On this side, these two, if I put the knife edge over here, then these two will contribute to the clockwise moment. So 80 multiplied by distance between the fulcrum and this weight, which will be how much? Now 50 and 95, when you subtract you get 45 and plus x, this distance is 45 plus x. 60 gram force multiplied by x, the distance between this force and the fulcrum, should be equal to the sum of anti-clockwise moments. Distance between 30 gram force and the fulcrum, how will you find out? Distance between 30 gram force and 50 is 30 and minus x. So it is 30 into 30 minus x. While for 20 gram force, it will be 40 minus x. On solving, you will get the answer as 60 centimeter. 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark. Calculations 4 mark and correct answer is 5 mark. Another way of solving this question could be that if I place the fulcrum over here on the other side, then applying the same concept, but now the distances values will change. That is the only difference between the previous one and this one. So this 80 gram force placed at 95 centimeter mark is at a distance of 45 minus x, because the fulcrum I have assumed to be here. And likewise, I'll put the values for other different values of positions of the forces. That is, for 20 gram force, it will be 40 plus x. For 30 gram force, 30 plus x. And for 60 gram force, it will be 60x. So this should be 60x and the answer will be 60 centimeter. So this is the end of the paper. I hope you have understood all the questions.